kids, welcome to Terry on Tuesday. Man, I'm literally really dizzy. Hang on. Okay, so we're back in the kitchen of creation, looking like a desk of destruction, but I'm going to try my very best this week to make some progress on all the little things with the Vlahug Commander helmet that are kind of stopping me from moving forward. The main thing that's stopping me from moving forward is adjusting the metalwork, which is in the box there. But I have a local friend in Cardiff, actually, who does a lot of welding and stuff, and they will tweak it for me if I get to visit him, etc., etc. So yeah, there is that. Okay, so I went out shopping today, and at Halfords I bought some paint with my sample of the vinyl. Hopefully colour matched it. I went through I compared it to about 6 or 7 different brands, and that's as close as we're going to get. I did think of going brighter for the helmet, but I thought, no, it's got to be as close to this as possible. So it's a little bit of a burgundy. This is called Renault Flame Red, just in case. Unfortunately for Mr. E, who's commissioned this helmet, you probably can't get these in the States, but if you need to top it up, I can always pick up a new one. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the match. It looks darker in real life. It looks brighter on screen, and I have this is a spare piece of material. I've just folded it over and used some of the Yoo-hoo, I had that last week, to glue that. It does take a good few hours, so I'm just going to put something heavy on that, like my workload. You can sit on there, and you can sit on there. Right, okay, so I also picked up a tiny pot of satin white paint for the horns. They need to be painted, so I didn't want a gloss. A matte would have been nice, but satin will be fine. So I need to find a way of suspending these things in order to paint them. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. Maybe I should just hang them, put some string through this and just hang them from like the curtain rods or the stairs or something. I'll think of something. One thing I do want to try and do while I'm here is like I said last week, put some coat hanger wire in here and bend it so that it curves a bit better to what we want, a bit closer to what we want. Because if I was considering heating this up over the cooker, warming it up, but then I think what would happen is it would flatten and bend rather than curve. And we want to try and keep it curved if at all possible. I mean, admittedly, if this was like an aluminium tube, it'd be fine, but it'd still be heavier. So I remember I got a ton of wire coat hangers that I used for the Andor build. Remember the Andor prop build, the Andor thingy? That was many, many videos. But I've got plenty left over. So my plan is to cut a number of, I'm thinking about three lengths in each one of these, tape them together so they don't slide around, and then curve them, push them through, and I think 3 of them on their own should be enough to fight off the springage. Look, I'm making this up as I go along, all right? Well, not exactly as I go along. Generally, I think about these things all day and all night, and then when it comes time to do things, I've usually kind of talked myself around into a way of doing things. Here we go. Good old steel wire. I'll just cut the maximum length. So again, this year being the year of ADHD awareness, where I'm almost 100% certain that I've had ADHD for many, many years, decades in fact. I do things in a slightly eccentric manner, and always have done, thinking that was the way everyone does things. Turns out it's not. So deciding on a way forward with any issue or problem or situation involves me thinking about something in great detail, for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then because I've done it so many times in my head, I feel like I know what I'm doing already. Yeah, not ideal, I know, and I still make mistakes, obviously, but hey ho, that's just how it is. So we're going to try and straighten this out as much as possible. What can I tell you about in the meantime? Yes, so Bloody Students film. We're going to probably do a new crowdfunding campaign probably in the new year, because I want to show people what we filmed in September. But until then, what I think I'm going to do is we're going to do it's basically a raffle, but it's a scratch card, right? So there's going to be 100 boxes with Egyptian words in, different, pyramid, Cairo, sarcophagus, Tutankhamun, etc., etc., etc. And you pay a £2 stake, and there's a scratch card at the bottom which reveals the winning name. It's a bit like a friend of mine does it with dog-related raffles, and it's name the dog, or name the snowman for Christmas, and the winner gets the prize. So I've made up the scratch cards. It's a big sheet basically, and we'll do it online. So people just sort of pay their stake via PayPal, and I'm going to do two versions because my friend who has the dogs and does all the dog charity stuff, she said there would probably be a lot of interest in the prize being a canvas painted portrait of someone's pet poodle, pooch, that's the word, not poodle. Well, I might have a poodle. So I'm going to offer a painted canvas portrait, not the biggest one in the world, but something like 10 by 8, maybe a little bigger, 12 by 10, painting of said pet. If you win, obviously you have to send me a photo. Can't do it from memory. And I'll do that. And that will appeal to a lot of people who have pets and, the doggy crowd. Which is quite fitting, really, because the production company making Bloody Students is called Dog Bloke Media, run by my friend Andy, who goes by the name of the Dog Bloke because he is like a sort of professional dog walker and has been for many years. So he's very dog adjacent, as they say. Anyway, so I'm going to offer that as one prize, but the other scratch card will be film related for the movie. So if you don't have a dog, but you do like to support the movie, that's really long, but still, there's one, then the prize will probably be, because I've been asking people on Facebook and Instagram today, what the sort of prize is, and most people have said they would like me to offer a set visit or a cameo, and some signed props and stuff from the film. So the prize for the film related scratch card will be all the above. You'll get a set visit, you'll get signed props, signed script, signed clapperboard, obviously photos with the cast and crew, and the stars, depending on what day you can make it, because there are two. There's going to be a couple of filming sessions, so we'll work out a way to get the winner down. Obviously, we can't fly anyone from overseas, so please don't enter from the States if you're expecting a set visit. We can't afford to fly people over. But in the bin with you. You will win all the above, and if you don't want to do a cameo in the film, you don't have to. You can still turn up and meet everyone and spend a day, hang out with us, have something to eat, and have some fun, take some selfies, etc., etc. Come on with all your goodies. But if you want to be in the film, there is 1 or 2 scenes where we can stick you in the background, whether it's in the museum or on an outdoor shoot that we have planned. Pardon me. And that will be fun. So you'll get the whole film experience. You'll get to see me doing my best to keep control of this madding crowd, and having all the fun with mummies and students and and comedy horror stuff. It's going to be great. So, I don't know when I'm going to launch this. Probably in the next couple of weeks, because timing wise, we've got September coming up, and we could always do with a couple of quid extra in the kitty for that shoot, which is the important one, because it's going to be filming a reasonably exciting scene with our guest star Paul Putner and two mummies. I have to still make the costumes, or at least finish one costume and make another one completely from scratch, so that'll be coming up in future videos. How to make a mummy costume on a budget, right? A decent movie quality one, obviously. Not a cheap ass one. Anyway, so I'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks, I think, because if we can raise a little bit of interest and cash before September, that will help us with the shoot in September, obviously with costs and, buying food for the actors and, hiring some more lights perhaps, or that kind of thing. We've got special effects that need doing, both in makeup and in digital. So, I would like to pay the people to do their work to the best of their ability with a couple of quid. We do what we can, right? I'm trying to make this a fun, rewarding experience for everyone, even if no one's going to get ridiculously rich out of it. But it's not what you mean to go on, right? Okay, number 2. So if you're interested in that, look out for the Bloody Student scratch card games. You can enter both if you like. If you've got a dog and you want to do the set visit, you might win one, you might win both. You get, a portrait of your dog, and if you win something on the other side, then you'll win the prize of a set visit, and all that malarkey. Have I got enough for 3 on this side? That's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it should be alright. Although these are the really nice ones that are covered in white plastic, which are quite cool. Anyway, let's fast forward all this nonsense. I've got nothing more to say. Alrighty, we're back. I've stopped at 3 for now, because I don't even know if this is going to work out. Anyway, so I've got the 3. I think they'll be fine. I think 3 is still light enough and strong enough. So I think the thing is to tape these together, to hold them together so they're not jangling around, and then give it a really good bend and hope it keeps its shape. I will be shortening these, obviously, to be within the tube. So what are we going to tape them together with? Well, I've got masking tape there. I think sellotape should do. I was thinking of insulation tape, but the problem with insulation tape, unlike sellotape, insulation tape is thick plastic and the glue on it is very thick. So I tried to frame a poster before with insulation tape. That's a nice black insulation tape. And over the years, the tape, because you stretch it as you pull it, it starts sliding back within the glue. It starts stretching itself back, and then it just sort of bleh. So it just get a bit horrible. So let's use a bit of sellotape. It's obviously not stretchable plastic on the tape. So we'll just tape that up like that, nice and tight. And I'll do a couple more. I know this is going to be quite a long, boring video. But hey, look, I'm doing something, and instead of just talking about doing stuff like I have been the last couple of weeks, for which I apologise, I am still snowed under with stuff that needs doing, and that's day job stuff and film stuff as well. Getting a bit panicky about time running out on the film, because I got a lot of things to attend to. So yeah. Stop it. Right, one more. Okay. Yeah, I will be snipping the ends of these off. So let us curve. I'm overdoing it, right, because this springs back and also the tube will fight it. That's a bit better. So we've got a letter C, as it were. Pop that in. So I didn't want to bend it while it was in the tube, because you'll get the flattened tube syndrome, which I don't really want. Come on. See, straightening it back out. Careful not to flatten it. It wants to flatten. That's better. That is better. I need to bend these even more. Maybe 3 isn't enough. I think it should be, because it is steel and I don't want it to be any heavier. And I don't want to start buying lengths of aluminium, aluminium wire or rod to go in here, because it just adds to the weight. And the trick is to make these as light as possible. That's pretty damn curved, isn't it? Look at that. Alrighty. It's going to fight it. We know it's going to fight it, but look at that. That's great. And it ain't too heavy. It'll be lighter once I snip these ends off. I can live with that. Okay. I'm not going to... Actually, I am going to pop it on. Pop that to there. Which end? This end. I haven't worked out about the cones on the end. I think they're black. I'll find some plastic cones that will do the job. Look at that. That's great. Because that would be like center, like this, and that is really nice. Right, I think what I'll do is do the other one like this, so I've got the right kind of angle for them, and then I'll paint them, because I didn't want this to be painted and have to like crack the paint and mess about with it. So I'm going to find a way of standing this somewhere safe, somehow. I don't know. And then we'll paint it. So let's do that. If you've ever played Halo, you'll know of a little flying AI computer thing that's quite sinister, that says things like,
I am a genius.
I've decided to tape it to the underside of a stool. Look, it works, all right? If in doubt, wing it. So, open the paint and try not to get it everywhere, because, as usual, I'm not planning ahead, putting newspaper down, wearing old clothes, or any of that sensible stuff, because where's the fun in that? Come on. There we go. Thankfully it doesn't need stirring. Get a brush. Maybe I'll get a smaller brush. Discovers he hasn't got a smaller brush, at least downstairs anyway. Right. 37mm brush, 1.5 inch. Have to be very careful I don't splash it everywhere. Let's start in the middle, shall we? See how drippy it is. It may need more than one coat, but it is helping to, pardon me, unify the unification stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about. Unify the look of it. Am I splashing paint everywhere? A tiny, tiny bit. It's horrible outside, it's raining. Anyway, so, just in case anyone brings me up on it, because I'm sure someone will, I did say during May, during May's Kickstarter, we're in August now, during May's Kickstarter, that I'm not doing any more Kickstarters after this. I meant any more Kickstarters after this film, because I don't want to have to try and make another film using Kickstarter money. Now, the Kickstarter in May didn't pay off. We raised up to £2,000, which we didn't collect, because that's the way Kickstarter works. If you don't make your target, you don't collect the money. But it's fine, it's fine. So we're going to do this little raffle thing, I think, just to see if we can raise a few squids to make filming in September easier. That's looking good. I might have to do 2 coats of paint on this. Maybe in the new year we might go Indiegogo. I've never done Indiegogo before, but it is more film based, and Kickstarter didn't seem to have the reach or whatever. I only went with Kickstarter because I'm familiar with it. But it may be a case of go with Indiegogo and see what we can do, see what we can raise, as it were. So yeah, that's probably going to be the thing. I'm going to need help setting up the Indiegogo campaign, I think, because I'm not completely confident about how to do that myself. Very similar, I guess, but there are differences. Well, there's paint on me there. Nearly done. Well, nearly done this side. Yeah, it's going to need it. I mean, there's some stringy cotton bits on here which I should have cut off, but I think they can stick down with the paint. They'll be fine. A little fibrous. I'm going to be using this technique actually with the foam and carving it, and then coating it in cloth and painting it for things in the future. Like if if you want to make a vertebrae, you know, if you want to make some bones, that might be quite good. I wish I had the time to make a full dinosaur skeleton. I'd do it out of this stuff, it'd be great. Thing is, I can't see the underside of it, can I? I'm just gonna, maybe I'll catch that on the second coat, but it's coming along. Yeah, there is paint dripping. I'm getting little starfield dots everywhere, but hopefully not on me just yet. Apologies for the sunburn, I'm very red and peeling up here now. I made the mistake of going outside for 20 minutes during the sun. And I do not tan. I go red and it just peels off. Chernobyl style. Wow, I think that was thunder. Oh, well, that's a reasonably decent thick coat. Yeah. Nearly finished, nearly finished. Bear with, bear with. See, what I want to be doing is some script tweaks, a lot of paid work upstairs to do. I'm illustrating 2 children's books at once. I want to do some storyboarding for September. I want to be working on mummy costumes, but you know, I'm not having a go at Mr. E because I promised him this ages ago, and he's been very good and very patient with me to let me get on with this at my own pace, which is admittedly quite a slow pace. But we are close, you know. When you start painting things, it means you're near the end, right? So. I mean, I could paint these right at the end, but I don't want to get all white splats of paint on the very nice red dome, as it were. Because I'm at the age now where you say things like, I'm at the age now. See, I stole that joke from Randy Feldface. Oh, talking of Randy Feldface, if you don't know who Randy Feldface is, he's an Australian comedian in the form of a puppet. He's a purple puppet, looks a bit like Kermit, just all 2 eyes, that's it, hands, wears nice outfits. Really, really funny, occasionally not safe for work, but he's fantastic, he's awesome. I missed him live in March of this year, but then I didn't know of him. He was playing, he's been touring the entire world and getting, you know, rave reviews, but now he's back in Australia to finish off the tour, I think. But if you've been following my social media, you'll have seen me fanboying crazily about a female singer called Jude Pearl. She's a comedian and singer, and she was guesting on one of Randy Feldface's comedy shows, which you can watch on YouTube, Randy Feldface and Friends, and she's just awesome. She's just got the most amazing voice, better than most pop singers. A bit jazzy, a little bit Amy Winehouse, but you know, not strictly jazz, but all types of songs, pop music, you name it. Anyway, she's done a couple of songs with Randy Feltface's and Friends show, and I just fell in love with her sound and her humour and everything. I'll put a link to the Randy Feltface show down below and you can see. So basically on that show she did a song called I Have a Face, which is a great comedy title, but it's actually, it's funny, but it's quite touching. It's about, you know, look, I've got a face, you've got a face, and every part of it is in the right place. Nobody's face can ever replace your face. That would be a disgrace. But she sings it beautifully. And it got me right there in my cold, cold heart. So I ended up buying her album on Bandcamp. I paid $15 and I got a digital download of the album and a physical copy which she signed to me, which arrived a couple of days ago. In fact, I think it arrived yesterday, in fact. Today being Saturday for me, obviously. And if she ever comes to the UK, I'm there, dude. So yeah, I can't, if you like comedy songs, and if you just like a bloody good singer, with a slight, you know, acerbic, world-weary, but very sweet tone, and just enjoy it for the music. Jude Pearl. She should be a much bigger star than she currently is, and I'm sure now, because of Randy Feltface, his star is rising massively, and I'm sure she will also. So if she ever comes to the UK, I should be fanboying and desperate to meet her, because she just seems, you know, really cool, really down to earth and lovely. Right, that's done. I will notice here, you may notice here that the ridges, where they're stretched across here, are very flat. They've almost disappeared. But there's not a lot I can do about that really, unless once the paint's dry, I could actually get a knife in there and cut them and push the cloth back in and add extra glue to make them a little bit more indented. We'll see how it goes. I'm not saying I will. But it looks okay. I mean, that's only one coat. I think it needs another coat just to get in the nooks and the crannies and give it a final white thing. But I quite like that. I'm going to have to do the other one. But what I'm going to do right now, is this water soluble? I hate having to wash brushes in white spirit. So I'll do that with the other one, obviously. I can't remember. Cleaning. Warm soapy water. We can do that. Okay. Sink full of dishes. Okay, pro tip coming up. So you've got your brushes, and you might want to use them again while you're painting. Aluminium foil, tin foil. That stops your paint from drying out, and as long as you've got quite reasonably tight, your brush won't dry out, and you can use that again. What I will do is I'll just keep this for now and then wash the brush out after this video. But let's put him somewhere else. Now, next thing, remember the mask? And I've just put some new filler on here just to cover up the top bit. It does need some sanding, so it's just a case of getting the sandage down a bit. Most of this is going to be, I mean, it's going to be pretty smooth anyway. The top edge of this mask will go into the helmet anyway. So maybe we should speed this bit up. tiny bit of filler primer left over, which is very thick yellowy paint. But it should be good to sort of bring the whole thing together. Now, I'm just going to nip outside and do this, and I'll be back in a tick. And we're back in the room. He's primed it up. A tiny little drop in the middle of his nose of rain, but that'll be fine. That little mark on top where the pliers were is not going to hurt. I look like I smoke 30 silk cut a day, which I don't. That should be okay for now. It's great stuff, filler primer. Probably needs a bit more either side of the nose, but EVA foam doesn't take to paint really well. But once it's had some primer on, it can have some more primer and some more primer until it takes to it. So I'm gonna leave that there. That's nice. Okay, what else have we done? Right, we've got to finish off the other horn, paint it. That means I'll have no stools to sit on for a bit. And I'm gonna, let's see how this is gluing. I remember I did that about a while ago. That's gluing nice. That's better than the other glues. And it isn't even gone off for a full hour yet. So we're gonna glue the edges to these, but not in this video. Because this video is already ridiculously long. I'm completely aware of that. But I hope you'd found this video reasonably interesting. As YouTuber Disparu says, those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Leave them in the comments below. Yeah, so a little bit of progress, which is good. If I can get to my friend Kevin up in Cardiff with the metal piece to do a little bit of hacksawing and welding, not welding, but bending and stuff, that'll be sorted. And we'll have the horns, and I'll try and make some cones for the horns for next week, and we'll glue the flappage, and maybe we'll even put the golden studs on the flaps. That would be great, wouldn't it? Right, that's it for me for this week. Hope you found that semi-entertaining. Remember that the Bloody Students scratch card, which looks kind of like this, you see it's going to have all Egyptian names and stuff on there. You just put, you pay your thing, we'll put your name in a box, and we'll scratch off the winner once the card is full. So the two prizes are, one is going to be the full film experience where you come to set, distance permitting, obviously. We're going to be filming in South Wales, so if you're entering from France, you're going to have to get to Wales at the very least. And the other scratch card will involve a canvas portrait of your pet. It'll be a dog. I mean, I might do a cat. Might even do a hamster. I haven't painted a hamster before. Anyway, that's what's going on with the Bloody Students raffle. Hopefully we'll raise a couple of quid to make the filming in September a bit more doable, a bit more comfortable for everyone, with food and lights and cameras and just travel expenses, that kind of thing. Because these films can't be made on a budget. Not on a ridiculously low budget anyway. I've learned my lesson. Anyway, as I said, that's it for me for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. From me and my leathery sunburned head. Look at that. In the immortal words of Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters, Jesus, I look like a 50-50 bar. In this country, that's a double-decker, by the way. I will see you next week. Take care now. Bye-bye then.